the Majapahit Kingdom, the legendary glory of the archipelago.
But before we start, please support us by pressing like and subscribe buttons. Also turn on the bell notification to get the latest updates. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you.
In the heart of the Indonesian archipelago, where lush rainforests met mighty rivers and sacred mountains pierced the skies, rose a kingdom that would one day shine brighter than any other empire in Southeast Asia, Majapahit. Born from the ashes of conquest and driven by an unquenchable thirst for glory, this kingdom would grow to become the final and greatest Hindu-Buddhist empire in the region, uniting the Nusantara under a single banner of power, wisdom, and majesty. It began in the late 13th century, a time of turmoil. The once mighty Singasari kingdom in Java was crumbling under internal strife and the looming shadow of foreign invaders. Kertanegara, the last ruler of Singasari, had refused to submit to Kublai Khan's mighty Mongol Empire. In retaliation, a fleet of Chinese warships set sail for Java, prepared to exact punishment. But fate had other plans. Kertanegara was assassinated by a rival noble, Jayakatwang of Kediri, just before the Mongols arrived. As chaos consumed the island, a young noble named Raden Wijaya, Kertanegara's son-in-law, fled into the wilderness. Clever and resourceful, Wijaya gained the Mongols' trust and manipulated them into destroying Jayakatwang's forces. Then, with masterful strategy, he turned on the Mongols, driving them from Java and seizing control of the land. In 1293, he declared the founding of a new kingdom, Majapahit. The name Majapahit came from a bitter fruit found near the Brantas River, symbolizing the hardships endured to establish the kingdom. From its capital in Trowulan, the kingdom began its ascent. Under Raden Wijaya's rule as Kertajasa Jayawardana, Majapahit laid its political and cultural foundations. But it was not until several decades later, under the reign of the legendary Hayam Wuruk and the brilliance of his Prime Minister Gajamada, that Majapahit reached the pinnacle of its power. Hayam Wuruk ascended the throne in 1350 at the age of 16. Though young, he possessed remarkable intelligence and vision. But the true force behind Majapahit's expansion was Gajamada. A former military commander, Gajamada had sworn a sacred oath, the Sumpah Palapa, not to enjoy earthly pleasures until he had unified the entire archipelago under Majapahit's rule. This bold declaration was met with skepticism, but it would become a prophecy fulfilled. With unshakable will, Gajamada led military campaigns that stretched Majapahit's influence far beyond Java. One by one, the islands of the Nusantara, Sumatra, Bali, Borneo, Sulawesi, and even parts of the Malay Peninsula came under its sway. Majapahit established trade routes, sent emissaries, and demanded tribute, ensuring loyalty not just through war but through diplomacy and cultural exchange. By the mid-14th century, it was said that the empire controlled or influenced more than 90 tributary states, making it one of the largest and most powerful thalassocracies in the world. Majapahit was not only an empire of conquest but a vibrant center of culture, art, and spirituality. Its society was a sophisticated blend of Hinduism and Buddhism, fused with ancient Javanese traditions. Temples soared across the landscape, their stone reliefs telling stories of Ramayana and Mahabharata, their courtyards alive with ceremonies and dances. Poets composed epic kakawin in Old Javanese and Sanskrit, scholars studied astronomy and philosophy, while traders brought silks from China, spices from the Moluccas, and gold from Sumatra. At the heart of this glory was the capital city of Trowulan. With its wide avenues, brick palaces, lotus-filled ponds, and meticulously planned gardens, Trowulan was a marvel of urban design. Visitors from across Asia marveled at its order and beauty. Foreign emissaries from India, China, and even the Middle East found a realm both mystical and worldly, where local wisdom harmonized with foreign influences. But like all empires, Majapahit's strength was not eternal. The seeds of decline were sown even during its peak. Gajamada's later years were marked by tragedy. In 1357, during a diplomatic marriage between Hayam Wuruk's daughter and the Sunda kingdom, a miscommunication led to the Bubit tragedy, an ill-fated battle that ended with the deaths of the Sundanese royal family. The incident deeply scarred the court, tarnished Gajamada's legacy, and fractured internal unity. Hayam Wuruk continued to rule wisely, but after his death in 1389, succession disputes broke out. Rival princes fought for power, weakening the central government. The once loyal vassal states began to drift away, reasserting their independence. New Islamic kingdoms, like Samudra Pasai in Sumatra and Demak in Java, began rising with fresh zeal, inspired by a new religious tide sweeping through the archipelago. By the early 15th century, Majapahit had become a shadow of its former self. Still culturally rich, its political influence waned. The arrival of Chinese Admiral Zhang He's fleets brought tribute missions, but also hinted at the rising might of Ming China and the shifting balance of power. Meanwhile, Islam continued to spread, peacefully and powerfully, through trade, scholarship, and marriage. Many coastal areas embraced the new faith, moving away from Hindu-Buddhist traditions. The final blow came in the early 1500s. A series of internal rebellions and the rise of the Islamic Sultanate of Demak hastened Majapahit's fall. According to tradition, the last king, Jirindrawardhana, tried to reclaim the throne but failed. By 1527, Majapahit had effectively collapsed. The empire that once ruled the seas and islands of Southeast Asia was no more. Yet, the legacy of Majapahit never truly faded. It became a symbol of unity, power, and cultural excellence. In the centuries that followed, Javanese courts, especially the Mataram Sultanate, claimed descent from Majapahit to legitimize their rule. Indonesian nationalism in the 20th century would later look to Majapahit as a golden age, a time when the archipelago stood united and proud. Even today, echoes of Majapahit resonate through the nation. The state ideology of Indonesia, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, unity in diversity, is a phrase lifted directly from an old Javanese poem of the Majapahit era, written by the poet Mpu Tanchular. It captured the kingdom's remarkable ability to hold together a vast and diverse realm under one vision. Archaeological remains in Trowulan whisper stories of a forgotten grandeur. Stone temples like Candi Tikus, bathing pools, sacred gateways, and scattered bricks that once formed majestic halls. In museums, crises, manuscripts, and bronze statues bear witness to a time when the archipelago was not a cluster of fragmented islands, but a proud civilization led by philosopher kings and warrior saints. The story of the Majapahit kingdom is more than just the tale of a bygone empire. It is the narrative of ambition and unity, of triumph and tragedy, of human brilliance and the unstoppable tides of change. It is a story carved in stone and sung in verses, still remembered by those who seek to understand the soul of the Indonesian archipelago. Majapahit may have vanished into the mists of history, but its spirit endures, in every prayer chanted in ancient tongues, in every dance that honors the gods, and in the beating heart of a nation once again striving for greatness across the seas it once ruled.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe if you like videos like this. Thank you.